We are talking to the authors of Anatomy of Abundance, and we're going to be talking about self care today with one of the authors. You're not going to want to miss this. Self care mean to you? Today, we're talking to Stacey McKay. She is one of the authors from Anatomy of Abundance, and we're so excited, Stacey, that you joined this book and that you're part of it. So, why don't we'll just start out, tell people a little bit about you, what you do.
Hi. So, hi, Sally. So basically, I am a person that, I do a couple things. I'm a project manager for a major aerospace corporation, and I also do real estate. But the thing that I really like to delve into is to talk about, self care. And I got the opportunity from this, from not only the Action Takers Publishing, but from Patrina Wisdom to write. And that was something I've been wanting to do. And one of the things I felt that I could really get across to many people is about self care.
Yeah,
Self care is not something that's a selfish act. Self care is for especially for women very very important, and of course I had to learn that too. It
yeah.
wasn't something I just came up with. So
Yeah, and I think a lot of women go through that. I mean, that was my story at the beginning. I mean, at the beginning of all of this was I realized that I was really good at taking care of everybody else, but really bad at taking care of myself. And so I embarked on that journey of self care and self love, and I really had a hard time at the beginning. So how do you encourage people who are going through that to stick with it?
So one of the things that I learned for myself was that, and you bring up a great point, is that in always wanting to take care of other people, I think we forget that if we don't take care of ourselves, guess what? There's no one there for us. And it's so important what I tell people, especially for the simple fact because one, I've lost over four people within the last decade, both of them being not only my mom, my brother, and my dad, but a couple other very good people that I've lost, is that you don't realize these things until something in your life has a major event. And the thing that I like to tell people is you don't want a major event to trigger you to change. You want to try and change and do that transformation before that major event, because when that major event does come, you are better equipped to handle it. You're better equipped to, you know, get through it, because it is a process. It's a
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us need that, we need that wake up call, right? We don't do it unless there's a wake up call or we hit that rock bottom because
Mhm.
that's what happened to me. I woke up one day and I looked in the mirror and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a mess." And
Yeah.
it was that mirror moment, standing in the mirror and saying, "What have you done to yourself?" And then
Yep.
saying, "What do I need to do to make this change and to make this better?" And it was for me, it was taking small little steps over a period of time, that changed things for me. I think a lot of times people think they have to make like a big major change right away, and I have had tried that before, and that doesn't work, you know?
No.
So tell us a little bit about your chapter in this book and maybe a little bit more about the self-care aspect of it.
So part of this chapter talks about, and I think I will be able to relate to a lot of people, is that I wasn't living my best life. And part of that, one of the things was because being a mom also, and my son was young at the time that a lot of the unfortunate, deaths occur. But I wasn't taking care of myself because I've always wanted to be that person that's always there for other people. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the key thing is that I have to take care of me or like reset so that I am there for someone. The other thing that I also learned was that I was an enabler. And if people can relate to that, it is not a healthy thing because what ends up happening, and like you say, Sally, you end up always wanting to do everything for everybody else. And then unfortunately, when you are in need of having help, a lot of people aren't there. And it is like you say, a wake-up call. One of the things I also really stress is, yeah, you do the bite size, not the whole thing. It if you try to do the whole thing, and I'm a victim of doing that too, you become overwhelmed and you don't wanna do it. You don't wanna try and, transform and be a better person and take care of you. You still have these excuses like, soccer, homework. You're still planning all these things with people, and sometimes it's okay to say no. I think a lot of us, especially as women, we don't say no. And I think part of that comes from our childhood. We've always been kind of that nurture, even if we have a brother or a sister, we don't say no. We don't, and because people look upon us like, well, why would you say that? That's selfish. No, there comes a time where you know as a person that I just can't do this. And but the thing is, what I've learned is I can say, I can't, I'm unable to help you at this time, but what I can do. So that makes it sound a lot more harsh than just flat out no. There's people that are very straightforward, and then there's others that feel that they don't want to hurt other people's feelings. But remember, at the end of the day, it's about you, and it's okay to, self-care. It's not a selfish act, it's a necessity, and I write that in my chapter. It's a necessity because we literally go crazy, literally, and then end up very sick, um, physically and mentally. We end up just being cranky, being grouchy all the time, and it affects our family, our friends. And like I say, in this chapter, I'm hoping I can get across to a lot of people, um, friends I've talked to, they are just ecstatic about hearing about it because they're like, "Oh my god, that's something I don't do." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Gotta read my chapter then," you know? That is one of the things I really pride myself on, and I'm glad that Patrina gave me the opportunity to talk about self-care, and because I did bring it up, Sally, but I kinda didn't, think about it until I started writing, and then it
Yeah,
really came up.
yeah. So, what are some of the, you talked about the bite-sized strategies for doing the self-care.
Mhm.
What were some of the ones that you did, um,
Oh
that you
my gosh.
shared?
Um, One of the things that I really started doing was more of working out,
Mhm.
and I tell everyone, it is your own personal journey on that road. I think when people try to go and work out because 1, it's very healthy for you, 2, it gets your endorphins going, 3, it's just overall a great thing for you to do, and you can start out with just walking. You know what I mean? Some people feel that you gotta hit the gym, you gotta sign no, just walking. If you have a dog, walk your dog. Uh, just doing those little things is so important. And while you're out walking, you can listen to music, but honestly, don't have conversations with your friends. Don't do your business meeting while you're walking because to me, walking is for you to enjoy. Look at trees, look at the stars, look at whatever you're doing. They say our receptors in our brain, when we start to look at trees and everything, we become calm, we reset, we have the ability to think about where we are and what we're doing. I think that's very important. The other thing for me, I really enjoy, believe it or not, is yoga. Uh, it has been a game changer simply because it opens up your heart, it opens up your body. and it slows you down. Something in our chaotic world, I hate to say, we're always against what? Time. We're always against time. But if we have time to look at Netflix, if we have time to just, you know, do things,
Scroll on
you know,
the phone.
get on social media, phone, we have time to take care of ourselves. I really believe that. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot of that stems from being present, right? Because a
Correct.
lot of times we live in the past in our minds,
Mhm.
or we
Yeah.
live in the future, and or fearful of what the future is going to have. So we're constantly always either thinking about something that happened, worried about something that's going to happen, and we forget to live in the moment. And that's where those walks, right? That yoga takes you
Mhm.
to that place where it's this is here and now, and this is where I'm supposed to be, and just noticing and being present. And I
Right.
think, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I
Mhm.
think, I do a lot of meditations, and that's so important to me. I do, and that was one of the things that I started was my morning meditation and then my evening meditation,
Great.
before I go to bed. And um it's being present, right? It's listening to my breath. It's feeling my body. It's
Mhm.
knowing, where I am, and stop trying to stop the thoughts um, that are going on in your head.
Yeah, the
Um,
negative chatter is what we,
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
the negative Nancy's, the Debbie Downer,
Well, that's
all of
how I've
them.
been working with my husband, because I've been a proponent of I'm a big like Tony Robbins and a lot of
Yes.
the
Mhm.
changing your thoughts, changing your world, the Wayne Dyer and all of that. And so
Mhm.
I've been talking to my husband because he's been going through some health issues and he's in his mind a lot. And I said, you got to get out of that negative mindset. And so
Mhm.
we've been working on different exercises for him to do to
Mhm.
become present, right? And stop worrying about the past and stop worrying about the future and just enjoy the place where you are now.
Yeah, and worrying actually stresses you out too.
Mhm.
Worrying will make you sick also. You hear about good stress and bad stress. Okay, that is a very good fact. But in my chapter, I really try to talk about things such as, reading. I I'm definitely a person with Tony Robbins, Brendan Bouchard. I mean, from uh, Dean Gracial to, who you mentioned also, it's very important, and they didn't start out just by being who they are now. They had to go through transformations too. And I think a lot of us forget that because they're so far at a pinnacle in their life, but they do circle back sometimes to say, look, this was where I was. And that's something I really like to always tell people. It's like, I didn't just transform and do self-care. I came from this background to get to where I am now, and I'm still learning and I'm still growing. So this is always to me a learning experience. I think when you read, books, I always like to read books such as this one. I'm so excited to read the other chapters because it just gives it's an overall, it's not just for one subject. I don't know if you've run into that, Sally, where some of the books, of course, we want to read them are more one subject. This book is going from finance to forgiving to self-care. It's great. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can reach a lot of people with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, we're talking about the book, Anatomy of Abundance. If you are watching this, head on over to go.patrinawisdom.com/abundance and pick up your copy. Stacey, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way they can do that?
I am on Instagram, and there is my word Stacy, just as it's spelled, STACEYMMCKAY. I made it really simple. Um, I'm doing some social media. My son, I'm going to put a shout out to my son Nick, who's doing my social media for me for this book
Uh,
because he can and he's real good at it. So stay tuned, everyone. You're going to start seeing some more stuff on this book, and like I say, I'm super excited.
so
Super excited.
what do you want the readers to take away from reading this book?
Tools. they're tools for us to, transform and enhance our lives. That's really how I look at it. They're tools. You know how men have their toolbox, right? They go in and they know what they need, they grab it. That's really how I would like people to see the book, is like, what tools can I use to financially get better, or, self-care? How do I take better care of myself? There's even one chapter on, grief, healing on processing. So this book is just a accolade of so many different things. I think it's great because it doesn't focus just on one subject. So I want people to read it in a sense of, with a notepad next to it if they want, and say, oh my gosh, these little nuggets. Capture the little nuggets out of the book to say, oh, I can go do this. Um, yeah, that's
Yeah.
really where I'm at.
Well, Stacey, thank you so much for being part of this book and for sharing with us today.
Thank you, Sally.
Hi there, my name is Jackie Mott, and I am the author of Believe All Things Are Possible. And I'm a little bit blown away because Linda has just informed me that I am now a #1 international best-selling author, and I don't know how it happened. So I just want to say thank you, Linda. I just want to say thank you so much. Linda has been so instrumental in making this happen. I mean, obviously I wrote the book, but she's so good at what she does, and she's made it easy. She's made it easy to get this out into the world, and I am so blown away right now. I don't know what she does. I don't know how she does it, but this lady is brilliant and worth all of it, everything. Again, I mean, it takes a lot to make me speechless. It really does take a lot to make me not able to talk very well. So, #1 international best-selling, and now, right as of this moment, in 12 different categories. Linda, Action Takers Publishing, absolutely worth working with. She has been amazing. She has held my hand. She has helped me. She has supported me as I've gone through the bumps of getting this done. And now, look what's happened. Look what's happened. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Linda.